So, I've been noticing something very, very recently that I think is very interesting. So, basically, there's a bunch of people suddenly cropping up who are basically speaking the truth. Interestingly, like just regular people, starting their own YouTube channels. And then the super ultra popular streamers and stuff like that. The streamers who will survive it are the people who kept it real. And the ones who won't are all the ones that are basically under fire for various reasons. And people are actually talking about it. A lot of people have caught on to it too, just from watching it, but not necessarily making videos on it. Even whenever it comes to Satanism, it's actually fantastic. People are seeing it. People are listening. People are understanding. People are starting to get a grasp. Although what I have noticed is that most people don't. They're very niche, and their scope is very narrow. So they're very niche in terms of like me. I mean, I would assume that most people wouldn't click on this video just because I am showing quote unquote gameplay of Elden Ring, but really, at least how I'm treating it, I'm just playing the game, and then I feel like there's something I want to talk about, and then I press record, and then I just cop a squat. Unless it makes sense for me to be playing the game, which I've had videos like that as well, right? But this style of video is a very different style of video from what people would typically see. I'm really just doing it however the fuck I want to do it. And whether or not that results in anything, I don't care. Because personally, I feel like I could probably learn, if I really wanted to, learn the YouTube stuff and the algorithm and all that stupid shit. But it's like, I would rather just do it however the fuck I want to. And if anything comes of it, it'll come up. Anything, then it'll come, but like, I want to just be able to say what I need to say, and hopefully some people hear it, receive it, and start looking into these things for themselves and gaining a real understanding of what the fuck kind of situation like we're in. And when I say what kind of situation, I mean as human beings. Because the sooner that we realize that, the better. The sooner we realize that, the better. Like, as a collective. But basically, I'm going to paint a picture. So, imagine that there are people who have consolidated power for generations. And the power that they have is to basically control and command populations of people to do what they want. And it goes even so far as the labor, the jobs, and how people are spending their money. It's really all the way, religion and what people believe is true or possible, or what people will be even willing to accept in terms of what is real. Because like back in the day, like if you called someone a witch, you could just get them burnt at the stake. Literally. The Spanish Inquisition, the Crusades. What you see happening with Islam, which most people don't understand and they actually fall prey to, which is so crazy. You'll see feminists unironically going to Islam. It's like, wow, you actually can't make it up. They're actually so dumb that they genuinely don't understand. So it's like they're saying fuck the patriarchy and all this shit, but they go to one of the only patriarchal systems that actually exists on this planet still, that comes from the backwater fuck butthole of a country, of the world, basically, that is so pissed off at everybody, but they don't realize it. They're so pissed off at everybody that they want to kill everybody. Or they will either want to subjugate, rape, basically pillage, and They want full control. Either that or you have to die. That's what they want. And that's what it is with them. And they'll do whatever. They'll infiltrate countries. They'll do all kinds of shit, really. They'll infiltrate politics and academia and start changing it, making it easier for it's not looking good. Let's just say that. And people are so fucking stupid and delusional that they'll fall for shit like that, is what I'm saying. And nobody even really talks about it. Also, what people don't talk about enough, nor do they notice enough, is the Satanism. And this is what I'd like to say. So, Satanism is, Islam did not used to, well, first off, it's a derivative. It's not really, some dude made it up. It's like Mormonism, but it was a derivative of, the Abrahamic religion's source material, which is more or less the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then later the Bible, and then the Christian Bible, right? But then an interesting thing that exists within Islam is it takes certain things that exist within it. It doesn't really take certain things, but there's certain influences that it had that affected it regionally, like Zoroastrianism and Egyptians, basically. Also Indians, like Hinduism, Taiwan, or is it Taiwan? I'm not sure. Philippines, yes. Okay. And what I find to be so interesting is that people genuinely don't understand the history. They don't want to know the history. But basically the history is this. And it makes a difference, is that all of those came from the same source material. So it's all really just the same text, but utilized in specific ways. But that text so there's the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is essentially just a complete documentation of historical events, and the Bible is a product of certain interested parties finding it and utilizing it for their own purposes, for basically mental control, for control purposes, fear mongering, and just controlling populations through fear, right? And so, I mean, it's been edited, things have been taken out, left out, things have been put in, like the crucifixion just simply doesn't exist. His name isn't even Jesus. Christ is not his last name. It's actually Christ consciousness, which is basically enlightened consciousness, but it's Christ consciousness. And Jesus, that name is actually satanic blasphemy. You're praising Zeus, who is Satan himself, actually, who is also Allah. Wait, hold on. He himself is not Allah. I forgot who. No, wait, is he? No, yeah, he is. He is Allah. He's Allah. Because he's also the God of the Old Testament. That one that's like very homicidal and wants everybody to die, and everybody's like, oh, the God of the Old Testament or the New Testament. It's like they really deep down know that it's more than one person, but they can't actually reconcile that with the fact that they've been brainwashed to say that it's only one. In fact, there are many gods in the Bible. In fact, whenever they said God, and specifically in the Old Testament, also in the New Testament, but specifically in the Old Testament, it was actually edited to be with a capital G without an S at the end. But it was actually originally from the actual source material, lowercase g with an S at the end, so gods. So there were many, it makes sense why there was all these people worshiping all these other gods, and then there's this Jesus, or Isus, which is Zeus, really, which is actually, there's many names for this person, because he went all across the world which is how even religions like the Aztecs have certain things in them, in like certain mythologies in them, that pervade across all religions and all cultures, like the flood, right? And so basically, that character, that person who really existed, still, I believe, exists today, because this being, it's not a human, but but it's not a god either. It might seem like a god to us, but it's like, but basically, his name is Enlil, from the Sumerian pantheon, for the Sumerian cuneiform pantheon tablets, which is the source material of the Dead Sea Scrolls, which the Dead Sea Scrolls is, as I explained before, right? And then if you know the actual history, familiarize yourself with the actual history of this planet that we are living on, and then you look at all the other religions and stuff like that across the world, and especially even things like in these like secluded, sequestered tribes, you know, like the Aztecs and stuff like that, just all over the world, Papua New Guinea, all of these things, just all over the world, these myths pervade. It's like it's just a parallel on the timeline. No, it's not coincidental at all. It's history. It's actual history. But if you familiarize yourself with the actual history of this planet, and you in turn study Satanism, familiarize yourself with what Satanism is, you'll actually see that it's literally everywhere. It's all satanic blasphemy that everyone is literally eating, like they actually don't understand. And it's fucking scary. It's fucking scary. Like, the most fervent believers are actually the most fervent worshippers of Satan. Well, actually, the thing is, in order to worship Satan, you have to know that you're worshiping Satan. So it's really the ones who are in power that are but they're taking power and giving it over to Satan. That's what they're doing. And that's why the world is so fucked up and corrupt and all this kinds of shit, and the people that are in power are so nasty and so genocidal and so negligent of literally, they treat everyone like slaves because they look at you like slaves, because that's what the people being in power for generations and generations, these are those original people from 1800s who, even from before then, probably way before, I don't know how far back this goes, really, I don't. It could even go back as far as ancient Egypt. I don't really actually know, but for sure it's been around for the past since the 1800s, at least, with the Council of Nicaea. It started way back then. Like, really, in all the prophesizing, the things that seem like prophecies that have been fulfilled in the Bible, was them telling you what the fuck they were going to do and how things were going to go. That's literally it. It's just satanic blasphemy. It's actually just satanic blasphemy. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's like, if people just familiarize themselves with what actual Satanism is, then they wouldn't be able to hide it anymore. They wouldn't be able to do what they're doing anymore. And the world would actually start shifting instantly. So, the most satanic religion, quote unquote, well, there's two, but it's the right hand and the left hand. The left hand is Islam, and the right hand is Judaism. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I've said more in other videos, but that should really tell you pretty much all you need to know. And the middle, which is the body, the head, it is the actual ones that were in control this whole time of this planet. That's what it is. It's just that the right and the left hand have different names and different forms in these times we are experiencing. Really wish people would wake up. Alright. Enough chit chat.